Hello and namaste. My warm welcome to you all. First of all, here in this video, I'm gonna give you some very important tips on using definite article the. Dear students, sometimes we happen to make so many errors and mistakes in our daily English speaking or in our writing, especially in our grammatical structures, right? So I think it's very important to improve our grammatical structures in our daily learning. But as I mentioned earlier, here I'm going to tell you some very important situation where we can use, definite article, which is also known as a definite article, the, right? Because sometimes we feel difficulty to fill up articles, which one is the best in the situation among or and the, right? So without having delay, let's get started for this. Here, if something is mentioned for the second time, we use the, right? For example, he is wearing a hat. In the first example here, he is wearing a hat. Look at second example here. The hat is made the hat is made in Japan. Okay, in first example there is a before hat, not the, right? Because let me give you its logic. In first example, here is not it's not clear that which hat it is talking about, right? So we cannot use the here in first example. But look at second example. The hat is made in Japan. That means it's pretty clear that uh, it is talking about the hat which is made in Japan. That's why in the situation we have to use the, right? Okay, next, before the names of things which are unique and only one. For example, the earth, the sky, the universe, the moon, the great wall, the Jupiter. Similarly, there are so many other examples as well. For example, the Mount Everest, and so on. Okay, similarly, next one, before superlative degree. I hope you might have heard about this, you might have learned about this in your school as well. So I don't think I have to exaggerate it more. A superlative form means, which is, for example, the most, because most is the superlative form of more. So before the most, we always use the, right? Similarly, the coldest, the highest, so on. So next, abstract nouns qualified by an adjective or an adjectival phrase or clause. For example, the intelligence of Einstein is very strong. The intelligence of Einstein is very strong, right? For that situation where abstract nouns are qualified by an adjective or an adjectival phrase or clause, right? So next here, before ordinal numbers, always we use definite article the before ordinal numbers. That means order. For example, the first, the second, the third, the last, the fourth, and so on. Before the names of musical instruments, we always use the. For example, the guitar, the flute, the madal, the harmonium. Okay, we always should use the before musical instruments, right? Before the names of river, seas, and oceans. For example, the Nile, the Pacific Ocean, the Gandaki, the Kali, the Karnali, and so on. And here we use, the before the names of groups of Iceland, the British Isles, the West Indies, and so on, right? And similarly, move to next one. Before the names of mountain ranges, okay, the Himalayas, the Alps, and so on. Next one, before the plural names of countries, but no other cases we can use the. I will tell you in which cases we cannot use the. Uh, but we have to use the before the plural names of countries. For example, the Netherlands, the Philippines, the UK, the USA. Okay, but it's but having said that, we cannot use the before the names of any country. For example, the Nepal. We cannot say the Nepal, the India, the China, and so on. Only we can use the before, before the plural names of the countries. Okay, so let's move on next. Before the names of canals, okay, the Swiss Canal, the Gunda Canal, and so on. Similarly, before the names of deserts, the Sahara Desert, the Thar Desert, the Gobi Desert, and so on. Before the names of bef- before the names of newspaper, right? We always use definite article before the newspaper, the Kathmandu Post, the Kantipur, the Annapurna Post, the Himalayan Times, and so on. Okay, similarly, before before a period of decades, the 50s, the 60s, the 80s, right? Similarly, so on. And before the names of directions and poles, the south, the north, the east, the west. And similarly, before the names of periods of history, the the modern age, the stone age, the Victorian age, and etc. Before the family names and caste, the Rana, the Gurung, the Brahmin, the Tamang, the Chetri, and so on. Before the names of holy books, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Mahabharata, and so on. Similarly, here we have so many other cases as well where we can use we compulsorily we have to use the before some words, that is, before the names of nationalities, religions, races, positions are post. For example, let me tell you the Indian, but we cannot use the before India, but we have to use the before Indian, right? Indian is not it's a nationality, so we have to use the before Indian. The Nepali, the Hindus, the black, the prime minister, because it's a post, its position, right? The principal, the class teacher, and so on. Similarly, here, before the names of the adjectives that represent social groups, okay, the world group, right? The unemployed, the blind group, the deaf, the rich, the poor, the sick, right? These are the groups which represents the social groups, right? The homeless, the elderly. Similarly, here, before special meals, right? For example, the birthday party, the wedding anniversary party. Okay, before parts, before sometimes we use the before the parts of the day as well. Okay, the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Okay, similarly here, mm, before the names of ships and aeroplanes, the Mary Calist, the Titanic, the Buddha Air, and so on. So